Hey, good morning out there in YouTube land. What's shaking in your end of the neck of the woods? Looks like everybody's gonna have some rain this afternoon. The way this weather map's developing, like all of a sudden, mid-afternoon here, everything rain pops up. So be ready for thunderstorms. Looks like there's rain down here and thunderstorms a little over there by Wes S's house. Speaking of that, who's in the side chat? Looks like we got a little bit of mix of everybody. Rob Painless, C103, Barry Wood, good morning. Uh-oh. Rob's going to come back in a little bit. I delayed too long. Hey, Wes, what's up? Good morning. Yeah, it looks like there's rain down there over your house. Thunderstorms, little yellow and red spotty spots down there. Tommy Boy 9, good morning. Dad on YouTube with his hose in the house. Unloaded 50 cases of water. All right. Tommy Boy, like you're going to have it falling out of the sky most of the day, it looks like. So just catch what you can. Hey, but I hope everybody's doing good. It's Friday afternoon, Friday morning. I still haven't started my coffee. It's too hot. Good morning. Hope everybody is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed more so than me to get this started. See what's going on. But yeah, rain is in the forecast for most of us by noon today, it looks like. So I can't take the top off of the Jeep just yet. Or the doors off. I got to been delayed in that process thus far. What all's going on out there in your all's neck of the woods? Well, on the news front, just shocking news in Nevada last night. It's the only way I could say it. It just shocked me. I was very surprised. We were going to vote on this popular, or the Senate, our legislature passed the popular vote bill to force all of our electoral votes to go with whoever won the national popular vote, which some states have already done, and our governor actually vetoed it, which was just downright shocking because he's a I don't know what the word dyed in the wool union boss Democrat. But in the dark of the night last night, after it was passed, he vetoed it, which I think surprised everybody. But it's at least it's a stay of execution, I guess, for us in some respects. Delay the inevitable, maybe, but a lot of people were good to see that at least some semblance of sanity overtook somebody. It looks like there's been 15 other states that have already agreed to this to award their electoral votes to the national popular vote winner. So we have avoided that so far. Not the best reporting here. The news reporter, the roughly 200-year-old system, like, hey, dummy, how about, it's a constitutional mandate enacted at the time of the Constitution. The organization of the republic depends upon it, maybe something like that. But anyway, it looks like you got DMAC Outdoors has joined us. Good morning. Delaware Patriot has joined us. Good morning. And Chipper 66. Hey, Earthlings, fellow humans. What is up, my fellow humans? What's Delaware? You guys see the story about Disney CEO saying they stopped filming in Georgia, right? Hey, a bunch of dim-witted actresses came out about that, saying they weren't going to film anything in Georgia. So I guess they're going to take The Walking Dead off the air, I figure. And I didn't know Disney filmed in Georgia. I thought everything Disney did was CGI and animation. I didn't even know they, traversed the route and made real movies, actually. But that's a good. It's pretty ironic, Delaware, that they're not wanting to grow their customer base. You got me off subject now. I forgot where I was going. But our next fight here, and it clicks. It moves on. The Senate votes today, I believe, on our which is basically they're calling an omnibus gun bill because it has pretty much every anti-gun measure you could think of in it, including the red flag provisions that Bloomberg brought in and is proposing, and is shoving down people's throats essentially. Cyrus over there, down there in Vegas, ran across former New York Mayor de Blasio, or is he former or current? Governor de Blasio was in Vegas lobbying for that, I guess, and Cyrus caught him outside one of the casinos, giving him the business. I thought that was pretty good. But unfortunately, he was the only one there giving him the business. Yeah, but a bunch of Yankees coming down here, it's almost like people don't like that too much. But I don't know. We'll see if people wake up and smell the coffee on some of this stuff. But still got a long way to go to get out of the neck of the woods. Our legislature is supposed to close business on Monday evening. I believe Monday midnight is their deadline, which I don't know how the other guys manage. Or I guess we do know why that government continues to enforce things that they continue to dream up, is because they're in a lot of states are in year-round legislatures, whereas ours only meets once every 2 years. It is beneficial for us, but we're getting double-fisted this year. So that's that. See what else we got on the side chat. Water for Tommy Boy to avoid. You don't want to get the bad stuff out of the air. You're worried about the chemicals and whatnot. Good point. Oh yeah, the tariffs on Mexico, right? The Iron Witch. Good morning. Yeah, Wes, that's Trump's tariffs. I was going to get to that here shortly. It's up on my list up here to go and look at 5% on Jarritos and avocados, I guess. We could be in bad shape. Stand by just a second there. All right, looks like you got Stan Ultras join us. Wayne at Westwind Survival. Good morning. What's going on at your neck of the woods? Oh, stocks are down. Tom, you already checked in on the stock market? It don't up in 15 minutes. Yeah, but those Trump tariffs announcement was shaking things up last night in the futures market, I know, and the bond market, which I posted the chart on the YouTube there last night, was just through the floor. It is just sheer insanity. Somehow all this madness is going on in the world and everybody's giving the government their money. It doesn't, that'll make no sense to me why you would even think of it in that respect. New tariffs in response to, he threatened them that if they don't stop their immigration business that they're engaged in, he's going to keep the tariffs in place. Effective June 10 to do more crackdown on the surge of Central Americans crossing the border. He said the percentage will gradually increase up to 25% until the illegal immigration problem is remedied. This could get ugly. We could be in this could that's pretty expensive. A lot of trucks and stuff for, final destination assembly plants are in Mexico too, for a lot of different automobiles. They're just setting the stage, I think. Maybe they know things are going to get ugly, so they got to set the stage for it. Crash, baby, crash, says Tommy Boy. Delaware's on the road. All right. Hey, I didn't get to check out but about half your video from last night, Delaware, so I haven't got through all that next stage tabletop you were working on. I haven't replied a comment yet, but I did see it. Looks like it's interesting stuff. Tommy Boy bought a bunch of canned food at 50 cents. Dad is growing tomatillos this year. Green salsa might be a cash crop. It's pretty sad if Americans can't make their own salsa and then get shut down because of a tariff. So going on with the article here, the decision showed the administration going to new links and looking for new levers to pressure Mexico to take action, even if those risk upending other policy priorities like the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, also called the new NAFTA. I think is they're trying to rebrand it. This is the cornerstone of Trump's legislative agenda and is seen as beneficial to his re-election efforts. It also risks further damaging the already strained relationship between the U.S. and Mexico, two countries whose economics are deeply intertwined. Indeed. Trump made the announcement by tweet. Of course, everything's out by tweet now. Telling reporters earlier Thursday that he was planning a major statement, that would be his biggest so far on the border. So the quote here, on June 10th, the United States will impose a 5% tariff on all goods coming into our country from Mexico until such time as illegal immigrants coming through Mexico and into our country stop. A big emphasis on stop, he wrote. The tariff will gradually increase until the illegal immigration problem is remedied. It's going to be hard to do 100% stop. I think we should realize that. The Mexican president, who's got 4 names apparently, responded in a public letter late Thursday saying that social problems are not solved with duties or coercive measures, and alluded to the United States' history as a nation of immigrants, yada, yada. The Statue of Liberty is not an empty symbol, he wrote. He also said he was dispatching his foreign relations secretary to Washington on Friday to negotiate a solution. To the bargaining table we go, which was probably the intent the whole time anyway. The sudden tariff threat comes at a peculiar time, given how hard the administration has been pushing for passage of the USMCA. I think that's the United States and Mexico Canada, which is replacing the North American Free Trade Agreement. It comes less than 2 weeks after Trump lifted import taxes on Mexican and Canadian steel and aluminum, a move that seemed to clear the obstacle for its passage. And the same day, Trump and the Mexican president began the process of seeking ratification of the deal. Must be approved by all 3 countries before it takes effect. And obviously, Mexico is not going to approve it until this tariff situation is rectified. So it is what it is. Hyperbole, grandstanding. but that is what it is. So, yeah, all that stuff that travels through Mexico and everything else. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it can't help economically. We'll look on the front page here. Dow's set to go down 265. Let's see. Frank Burns, it looked like he's joined us, checking in. Good morning, Kenneth H. Good morning. Thanks for checking in. With Stan, our resident Canadian in the house. Stan says they should have called it the USCMA, but then they get confused with the Country Music Awards. I don't know if anybody knew that abbreviation or not. What West Wind responded to Delaware, it looks like on his scenario, can't get to his wife. I'm assuming you're talking about Delaware's scenario there, Wayne, with you can't get to your wife with the base being on lockdown. I hope that's not currently right now, right? Wes says all the veggies for salsa are all grown on the north side of the valley. But where are they processed? They probably ship them back to Mexico for processing, just like we can't process anything in America. On down, what else we got? The way things are going. Tommy Boy says more the way things are going with all the hate. Be watching more of Wes S of the Bible studies. That's probably a good objective anyway, Tommy. Tommy Boy continues. If you can't feel that something is coming, then you're on drugs or watching too much TV. Indeed. Right, Tommy Boy. The yeah, if you can't, it just what else could it something but not happen the way things are going? Yeah, we're just talking about Delaware Patriots scenarios that he was doing on his video or briefly commenting on. He didn't really miss anything real, Dad. Just some other. If you haven't seen Delaware Patriots videos, you go check him out. And he was going off of what Corsair trainers had put out with his videos. But the futures are supposed to be down here about 5 minutes to go live. But the most insane thing was the bond market. Just a few 6 months, the bond market has lost 6%, or what? No, not 6%, a third of the yield in a short 6 months. I mean, we were at 3.22. What's this? November 8th, November 7th. And November 7th, we were at 3.23, which seemed very high at the time. And we talked about this, about the bond yield being at like, that's pretty high. The market's not going to be able to handle that. The market's going to go down. But instead, they both went down. And we're now at 2.17, a full percentage point plus. That's just insanity. Chipper says TV isn't all bad. What? Are the Power Rangers still on TV, Chipper? These escapees are going to get out of hand. Yeah, Dad, I believe you haven't checked out Delaware Patriot yet. Man, we're not doing proper channel promotion on here. It's all right though. We all get around to some of it sometime, some way, somehow. But yeah, the bond market through the floor, just big time recession signals. As we've talked about the yield curve, look at this big dip, this bright blue, the dark blue line. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like that. So we're still not at a full inversion, as the 30-year is still higher than the down here at the 3-month and 6-month. But that big dip is a very bad sign, with the 10-year well below the 6-month even, and I'm working its way to get below the 2-year yield rates. So if you didn't know about the bond signals for recession, that's it. Be prepared, as they say. So tariffs, they are a coming. Stock market crash may be coming. Or just a slow burn downward. We're back down under 25,000 for that. The oil's been down, inching down a little bit. We're still $55 though. I mean, they had touched it almost to 70, so it's got a long way to go before it gets back down to below 50. And gold's back above 1,300. Gold's popped $10 today. That's a sizable move. Wes S says HTP, you have no idea how bad they are now. How bad who is? Who is so bad, Wes? Man, I missed out on what we were talking about. Dang it. Hey, Chance B, good morning. Aloha. Who is they? Now I want to know who they is, Wes. I have no idea how bad they are. What were we talking about? Talking about watching TV. Stan says C71 passed up there in Canada. Ask if anybody wants to sponsor a Canadian to become a citizen. Seriously considering to become one once his pardon comes in, or maybe the U.S. could just take over Canada. That would be swell. I don't think a lot of Canadians would share your sentiment, Stan. But what's C71 all about? Is that one of Trudeau's brainchild's bills? Can only imagine what it could be. Oh, we're talking about the Power Rangers? Oh, I have no idea how bad they are now. Oh, I didn't know they were still on TV. Why are you watching the Power Rangers, Wes S? You got grandkids running around? They that old to watch Power Rangers? The Power Rangers. RG Homestead, good morning. Bug Out Bubba's with us. Bug Out Bubba says, don't say slow burn, scares you. Yeah, that's the kind of a bad, that's really we discussed that a while back. The slow burners really negates all the prepping in some ways, because you're going to go through your stores and stuff slowly while everything goes down and trickles down to the bottom. You might be slightly better off when we get there, but you're going to be out of schlitz by the time things get really bad. It's going to make it very hard to replenish and recoup stores and stocks and everything else if we do the slow burn on the prepping side, at least. TR Prepper, hey, what's going on out there in neck of the woods? Kenneth H says the 1 month was trading higher than the 10-year at one point. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I think the 1, 3, and the 6 month are all higher than the 10-year for the yields in the bond market, which is just disaster. but somehow bonds, the 10 years still going lower. Like people are still dumping their money in the long term somehow. Doesn't make any sense. I don't even know how that makes investment sense. Like I'm going to pay the government now and get less in 10 years than if I just gave them the same amount of money for 3 months and I get more money back. Like return on investment wise, it just seems like a natural thing would be get a 3 or a 6 month bond and you get more money in the even the short term in this case. But yet here we are, because as that yield goes down, that means people are putting more and more money into it. Like who are these people? Is that your 401k? Is that your IRA investments going into that? Some of it probably, because they're mandated to be diversified into various things like that. If not by law, then by their policies and by their type of investment you're in, especially long-term retirement type investments or in long-term funds like that. West Wind says we will go to the retreat. As a slow burn gets bad, everyone is so poor that nobody will know the difference. Right, West Wind, will all end up just equal in the end anyway. Chance says it might get out of the 401k even with penalty. I already did that, Chance. That was one of the that was way back when. What was that, 2013? Got out all that I could get out. Anything voluntarily I could get out, I got out. Granted, I could have enjoyed some upside, but I was done playing. I ain't gonna mess around with this business. West Wind says he lost over 30,000 in the last one. Time Boy says it's minus 2070. Already, yeah, it's open now. Hit the refresh. 276 on the downside. All because of tariffs on Mexico. Yeah, right. And the lack of a Chinese trade agreement, and all of it could be just subterfuge and cover for the issues behind the scenes with the just unfathomable amount of cash that's going on floating around out there and driving the bond prices down and everything else. We shall see, I guess. What else is going on out there in the news world? Anybody got anything on the headlines your end of the world? But Trump said the economy is great, said Tommy Boy. Right? Well, it is, Tommy Boy, of course. It's all fake and it's all made up. They're just, well, West Wind, nobody understands money, right? Because it's all fake and it's all made up, West Wind. That's the problem. We're not taught to understand it. We're just taught to count it. That's our problem. We're taught that stuff, we just balance our checkbook and it's all good. Everything else will work out fine, right? We don't need to worry about the other smoke and mirror stuff that goes on, right? But we're not taught about the issues behind money. It's all fake and it's all made up. The banks make it whatever they want to, regardless of how hard you work. Speaking of that, Bobby says, get a job. What's up, Bobby? How you doing? Bobby just put out a video about why everybody should be doing solar homestead work, which is probably pretty good. I just saw the headline, Bobby, before I clicked on here, but we're going to go check that out because I probably should be doing more than I am for sure to get at least something built up. But I'm sure that'll be a good video Bobby just dropped this morning. Wes S wants that software for replacing faces on videos. Redo Rambo with you as the lead. All right. Isn't that is his latest? Is that new Rambo? Is that in Texas or is that Arizona? Something like that. Looked like a. What was I thinking? That was like a. It was like an adult Rambo version of Home Alone, is the way I was looking at that when he was setting up all the tricks and traps and everything. I was like, This is like Home Alone with Rambo. That's what it looks like. It struck me as funny the way that was set up. I know it might be a decent movie. There was a lot of people waiting for the racist claims to come out because he's just killing a bunch of Mexican drug lords. They're going to accuse Rambo of racism. TR says the job market is so good they're hiring felons and meth heads at the plant I work at. That's all they can find. That's pretty bad. Hopefully, it's not anything too intricate or too important. Felons could work fine, but I'm not sure about meth heads if they get the job done or not. Might be a little off focus at certain key points. So hopefully, it's not life safety devices or nothing like that. Wes S said one of his friends lost 70 grand overnight and had to go back to work. Yeah, this is going to hurt a lot of people's retirement plans as this goes. If this continues going in this direction with the markets, a lot of people relying on that payday. Anybody that's within 5 years of retirement needs to get anything out that they can, because it ain't going to be there probably, or it's not going to be any better than it is now. And you do better with it now than you will later. In 5 years, when prices are higher and everything that you might have wanted to do with that, whether it's land, house, whatever. My opinion, this is not an investment advice show. I'm just telling you what I would do. But I told you what I was going to do years ago. I just got out of it. Not playing in the casino no more. Dad says another police shooting down in his neck of the woods. Been a lot of them lately. Is that right? Wayne says, I think the media spooled us up over this Russia crap is cover for Congress. They're trying to pass some serious Orwellian. What they got going on, Wayne, that I've been avoiding talking about. So Congress, what's the latest bills that they've been working on? Bug Out Bubba says anyone with a mortgage has no business in a 401k. Says sitting on a paid off farm in a treat while all the people I worked with think they're sitting on a 401k fortune. Right? Things in the hand are worth a lot more than things sitting in la la land out there. That's exactly right. What you have in the hand and physical and real is much more important than any pie in the sky number, because you go to all these retirement seminars and 401k IRA briefs and everything. It's like, you need $1 million for retirement. Like, we're going to put all these 7 digits on a screen and this is your goal and you're going to get there and this is how you're going to do it. And through all this, what do they call it? Consistent investing plan or something like to that effect. We will get there, and we'll get there, with this plan, and you just invest this much each day, each month. And yeah, it'd be much better to have land and a place to live all paid for and taken care of at the end of that than have the cash, right? And the biggest thing is inflation, because the inflation has beat that what looked like $1 million down to about $150,000. We'll go over to the Zero Hedge. Picked up this article. If it'll get over here, check this out. Talk about global trade, not just the anecdotal American trade situation we've kind of in the loop on, but globally things are slowing down. It's not just us. As things get ugly. Tommy Boy's house is paid for. Kenneth H. says the Federal Reserve and their friends are the largest purchaser of these bonds and stocks. It's how they control the interest rate. They don't care for control return, just the situation. Yeah, that's true, Kenneth. They just a lot of it has to do with control, and that's why I was kind of posing the question: who exactly is paying this bonds to drive the yields down, right? Because a lot of that ties to government debt too, and what the government pays for debt in the long run. They can't have yields going up either. But yeah, the banks are definitely in on it to push some of that stuff down. Where was I at here? Well, I would say this, Kenneth, the plunging protection team can't protect everything. They run out of juice at some point, and faith in the system at some point will run out. And they can't stop a slow burn slide either. They can only stop the immediate computer initiated glitches that cause large sell offs. They stop that, but then when the confidence is lost and things start sliding down and people just start making real decisions, that they can't stop that. They can't stop the machine at that point. Well, I should say they can save the market, but they'll drive inflation to the moon, which is so much hidden inflation now you can't even count how much hidden inflation is out there. But anyway, global stock trade, global imports, exports, not winning. This is via the Zero Hedge. Those who claim that Trump has already won or is sure to win the trade war need to ponder actual trade results. Exports rose to 1% in March, with imports up a reported 0.9%. And that progress was taken away and then some in April. So the Census Bureau trade report, which is linked through here, shows the balance of trade widened by 0.3%. And the details are downright ugly, he says here. What are they going to say here? Sharp declines in exports are unwelcome headlines in April's advanced data on goods trade. The monthly deficit remains very deep at $72.1 billion, with exports falling 4.2% year on year, with imports also down 2.7% lower. Probably not a good time to be working in Long Beach, California. I wonder if anybody that works that kind of business would be interested to see what they see on their end as far as workload, because I mean they can talk dollars, but what does that actually mean on work on the pier, you know? The deficit compares unfavorably with a 71.3 billion monthly average in the first quarter. That marks a weak opening for the net exports in the second quarter. Capital goods are the U.S. largest exports, and these fell 6.5% in the month of April to 44.3 billion, compared with April of last year. Capital good exports are down 3.7%. Auto exports are also down 7.2% lower. That's 6.7% lower than last year. The only export component showing a gain is food and feeds. And interestingly, because we put all those tariffs on stuff going to China, you would think that food exports would drop, but I guess we found some other markets to send all the soybeans to or something. Food and feeds rose 0.5% to 11.2 billion, which is nevertheless 6.2% lower than last year's food and feeds exports. The decline on the import side is also led by 3.5% decline for capital goods. Yada, yada. 2.3% monthly decline in autos and consumer goods, as well as 1.1% drop in food imports. Probably mostly from China, I would imagine. Interesting stuff. Let's see. So winning, there's some bullet points. This has not been winning, and it'll never be winning. One, Trump changes his mind every month, if not week, yet he supposedly has more resolve. Two, Trump has proven a poor negotiator, is somehow supposed to negotiate magically. Trump has an election to win. The Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, does not. Trump is a braggart who demands the other side admit Trump's prowess. I don't know that has anything to do with this, but whatever. Putting everything on Twitter doesn't help, in my opinion. That's for sure. As far as the trade stuff goes, helps sway public opinion, but it doesn't help with the actual trade, especially negotiation with China. There's the rare earth situation, which popped up this week. If you didn't see the basically the rare earth elements that are used in pretty much everything electronic and tons of military applications, was basically brought up this week, with China having pretty much a lock on all rare earth development, mining, and otherwise. Our lone American mine even ships our raw earth extracted material over to China for processing, because the EPA and all the environmental stuff has shut down all the processing here. So we've cut ourselves out of that market even, and China's going after that as a trump card, I guess you'd say. The irony. But we'll see where that goes. That rare earth stuff could be pretty potentially either a weakness, or if America would actually, mine our wealth. I mean, in Nevada, this could be a huge deal. There's tons of rare earth mineral locations. It's just a matter of going out there and getting it, which can take years to develop, which is another problem. We're behind the power curve on even developing any other sources other than the one mine we do have. But processing wise, there was an article I shared on the was it just Twitter? I don't think I put it on the YouTube. That there's tons of technology that we can put into processing these now that makes it much more efficient and friendly for the environment, so that we don't destroy what the environment we do have after mining this stuff. But we can put a lot more technology into it to make it safe and not have the environmental disaster, which pretty much China does have, because they don't regulate the environmental problems that comes from this rare earth stuff like we do. And they have some environmental wastelands because of they're just going out and getting more and more of this stuff because it's such high demand for technology. Yeah, as it says here, the problem in rare earths is extremely polluting. It does not exactly start a mine overnight. China reduces supply once before, and this is what happened. China reduced supply of rare earths. Rare earth prices skyrocketed. New sources came into production within a couple of years. Price crashed. China further flooded the markets. The new Western sources lost money, went out of business. And that's a big, the problem is just like oil, the Chinese can do it cheaper with cheap labor. I mean, we have such a high standard of living that our people won't do the work for the money. Oil just now, in the last 5 years has come around to reestablish the U.S. oil market. Well, the oil price is getting back down to close to 50. If that keeps dropping much further, how's the U.S. oil market going to respond? A little less mining stuff like this. But it's our environmental protection stuff that drives the cost up of our mining so much as well. So as it goes on here, talking about the rare earths in particular, the position is the same as before. China supplies 80% of the production as no countries other than China are willing to deal with the toxic radioactive sludge that producing rare earth entails. Meanwhile, U.S. weapons manufacturers, cell phone makers, etc., need these rare earth metals. And it's got a couple of link throughs for trading hardball with that. Bond market, stock market. So we're still talking about the what's our headline of this article? I got way off topic on rare earths. The not winning in the global trade escalate, global trade issues. And I would say this statement here: the bond market, the stock market, and the global trade numbers all tell the same story. Trump isn't winning. Well, it's not Trump's fault. It's the Federal Reserve and central banking is always going to destroy the economy. It's the way the system is set up. It can't control itself. He's just the cover man. He's here to cover the collapse. I said this years ago, and it seems to be more the case now. He's providing cover because he is the ultimate cover that the socialists and communists can blame the greedy capitalist as the market collapses and get more of their agenda pushed through. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it for now. It seems to be more so the case that he is just providing that excuse, that alibi to the socialist central planners so they can point at him as the greedy capitalist, that he's the guy that crashed the market when it was nothing, not even close to being the case. But he's doing plenty of CYA for them on the back end. And that's just my opinion, I guess. We'll see what happens in the long run, but definitely not winning in these cases, I guess you would say. What's going on in the side chat? I've probably missed enough of the side chat. Let me check back in over here while I get this link put up in the description box. If anybody that's not familiar, we drop the links into the description box for future reference. So when you refresh or look at the video later, you can see the kind of the articles we're looking at. Hey, ZPD Survival's checked in. Dad says electronics recycling is going to become a huge industry, says the guy salvaging at the workbench. It is a pretty good business, but there's also to do it on an industrial scale to make the big money requires a lot of industrial waste too. I mean, you could pull a lot of minerals, and especially gold has become popular. Like Justin down at 420 Homestead was doing backyard recycling of computers and such, and making some side hustle cash. But to do it on an industrial scale, and really on the scale that needs to be to get good recycling numbers out of it, it's just still pretty burdensome, I would think, right now. But if you can get the little guy to do the hard work, and then maybe that's the way to go. What did I miss up here? Where did I leave off on the side chat? Wes S says, white guys can't get construction jobs down here. Language barrier. Uh-oh. Who's this here? Is this William? Is that you on the side chat, William? Domestic violence? That looks like William. What is going on? Dad says plunge protection team leadership recently announced they are going to retire. Is that right? Wes says, I wish mine was 15 more years to go. Chance B says they're doubling down on the retirement planning contribution propaganda. Is that right? They're trying to push it as this great savior still. Yeah, it's all about how bad you want to play in the casino in my mind now at this point. TR Prepper says my 401 is guns. They always hold value, right? Right, TR? That's a solid plan. That's a solid one. Kenneth H., the plunge protection team has unlimited funds because they control the printing press. True. That's they just have to inject enough to reserve the algorithms of all the high frequency, reverse the algorithms of the high frequency traders. It's still inflationary though, Kenneth. That's the problem. There's so much inflation that at some point they're going to inject. They can't control it. They can only mitigate it, I guess you would say. It'll get out of control eventually. And it's all about faith. The whole economic fake system is all based upon the faith of each other that this thing's going to continue to go in a circle. You know, West Winds, we're seeing at least 50% inflation. Look how much products in store have shrank over the years. Yeah, product shrinkage has been a big issue with how small products have gotten for what you pay in particular. I mean, the product gets smaller by 10% and the price goes up 20%. It's funny how that works. Kenneth says the average citizen is not invested in the stock market. Oh, I beg to differ, Kenneth. The average American is affected by the stock market almost directly. They just don't know it. The average American is exposed to the stock market. That's what's going to make this crash so much worse, is because everybody has either their company or government retirement is directly funded into it. I mean, you look at all these thrift saving plans the government has been pushing we're going on 20 years plus. They've been pushing this TSP plan that government employees have been in. You've got just about every state employee, and you got to remember, government workers are now the biggest portion. They're the biggest portion of the workforce now, is all government workers. They've been either forced or connived into these retirement plans that are directly exposed to the stock market and bond market for that matter. And all these other private sector jobs that are promoting these 401ks and IRAs, and they're all have these quote unquote tax advantages that keep you locked in them for the long term. Because if you bail out, you got this high tax penalty. So people see the tax penalty like, whoa, I don't want to deal with that. Not realizing to deal with that in the short term is much better than the long-term pain that could come with the other issues. But I disagree. I think the average citizen is very heavily exposed, which is what makes this time around so much worse than 1929, and why it's going to be so much more painful. Not only do people not have the skills to sustain their own, sustenance, they can't even grow their own food, but they're exposed monetarily to their wealth, to the stock market, and it's just going to crush what little wealth they thought they did have in there that would be there as a little nest egg is still going to be vanish at some point overnight. And I'm off that high horse. Let's move on. What else is going on? Anybody got anything? We're about ready to wrap this up, ain't we? Yeah, it's about time I got to jet out of here and go do the thing. So I can get my fake digits on a computer and go pay the bills. Interesting headline here. U.S. universities and retirees funding tech behind China's surveillance state. No doubt there. Journalists detained during first day of Bilderberg. It's that time of year. Yeah, I remember the old days when you got some good video of Alex Jones outside Bilderberg giving the bullhorn. I miss those days. The global gathering unbelievably secretive this year. How can it get more secret than usual? Multiple journalists were detained in a Swiss airport after filming Bilderberg participants arriving on the first day of the gathering. This is today. Yeah, I didn't even hear that it was coming up, but it is that time of year. Dan Dix with his crew were attempting to interview new arrivals before authorities held them in a detention room in Geneva airport for 20 minutes on Thursday. This is published on the Press for Truth YouTube channel. Here's a link to the YouTube. I'll copy this link, put it in the description box for everybody to watch later if you want for that YouTube video. But more of the same from the elites there. Several Bilderberg members had already left, and Dick's team was told they couldn't film inside the building, on the sidewalk, or the parking lot. So the full recent agenda is on this InfoWars article. So they're still doing some yeoman work on some of this stuff. It's not nearly as, or maybe I've just been out of the loop. I haven't followed Alex pretty much in a long time. They've got ever since what's his name? Goodness, the right-hand man there that I can't remember his name. He goes by the libertarian, not libertarian. It's libertarian YouTube and Twitter handle now. The guy that was at Bundy Ranch. My goodness, I'm losing my mind. But he's doing good stuff. I just don't catch in on the InfoWars stuff anymore. But the Bilderberg meeting will take place 30 May to 2 June in Montreux, Switzerland. 130 participants, 23 countries have confirmed their attendance. As an ever-diverse group of political leaders and experts from industry, finance, academia, labor, and the media has been invited. This is their full agenda breakdown. So that's in the links to that article. That's cool stuff. Trying to figure out how they're going to keep the economy afloat for another 10 years and not have everything fall apart on them. Wes S. says he missed these morning chats, just so you know. Thanks for checking in, Wes. We're here for you. Wes Wynn says he just noticed last month that things shrank again. Is that right? I go shopping, but I didn't notice. Premium brands are the same price as the cheap brands now. Is that right? Everybody went to generic and they pulled a hoodwink on us. I'm gonna have to double up my. Well, that's why I saw that Chunky Soup deals. I mean, as much as the store brand, they're not much different. You're right about that. I was just in that area. I'd have to look at everything else. All right, Delaware, have a good day. Get to work. Get that hustle on. Bug Out Bubba says if everybody invested their 401k in their mortgage, the banks would fail. Yeah, and well, the thing would collapse because once you get rid of all that debt, the whole system exists off of debt. Start eliminating debt, they start panicking. And that's the big fear. And that's the big problem with inflation is if people use inflationary monetary policy to pay off their debts instead of buying new stuff, which is what they want you to do, they want you to go out and buy new stuff with all the money that they dump in. That's inflationary money. But if you pay off debt instead, it's counterproductive to their whole system. And that's another thing we talk about money. They don't teach us these things about the way the debt works and payments and everything. Walter Davis, good morning. How's it going? Walter Davis has arrived some time ago. I'm way behind on the side chat. Oh yeah, I'm back. Yeah, electronics recycling. I rewound a little bit, I think. Hey, Christina Thompson, Billy Bird Outdoors. Yeah, it's a secret meeting, Billy Bird. Secrets of secrets. Billy Billy Bird, Christina. Hey, Billy Bird, you got antlers on the wall there. Go check out. Although he might be quiet right now. He was in here earlier. Yeah, Wayne says 401s and IRAs are like roulette. Exactly. It's all casino. All that stuff is all casino money, and the house always wins ultimately. So fair warned is fair enough, right? What did you get? Did you get no odd call, Bobby? He says the drugs are ready. It wasn't it wasn't just the drugstore. You think it was the corner store drug dealer? Christina says food's going to go through the roof in a few months. 30-pound beef. Yeah, this Midwest flooding is not helping any of that. I was looking at the prices of feed and livestock. Livestock prices hadn't gone up yet, but all the feed grains had shot up quite a bit since winter. So right by the time all that flooding hit, they bounced up pretty hard. I haven't checked back since that last round of flooding in Nebraska, but it didn't look good because you would think winter prices would be higher because there's a shortage in the winter, right? And more imports, but maybe not the case. Food prices talking about here. Tommy Boy's talking about Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Wes S says Pop Tarts are cheaper than store brand toaster pastries. No lie. It depends on if they've got them on sale or not. It's hit and miss there, Wes. I'm on the market for that. I got to keep my mail sources stocked up. My mail security system. And Bobby says he just paid $8 for 50 pounds of rice this last weekend. Just make sure it's not that fake rice coming out of Vietnam, Bobby. That's another hard thing with stuff like that. They found some of that stuff was plastic, That's scary stuff right there. But yeah, anything, there's definitely ways to get bulk food still cheap. Don't believe the hype. It's the prepared food is more expensive than anything. Check back out on the market here. We'll get ready to check out here and roll out of here. Man, Tommy Boy's got $500 to spend at Walmart. Well, I can't even imagine spending $500 at Walmart, Tommy Boy. I haven't been in there in so long. West Wind says, look up the TAPS Act. I'm not going to be able to get to that today, Wayne, but what's this about? This in Congress, I guess. We'll get it to in another. HR 838, Threat Assessment Prevention and Safety Act. Oh, great. That sounds awesome. Oh, yeah. Just off the search in the real quick search, the Congressman Brian Babin, whether shooting, a stabbing, weaponized vehicle, or bombing mass casualty events are occurring too often. These horrific tragedies are impacting our nation indiscriminately. Americans want a solution. I believe we found one, or not. It's endorsed by the association. This creates a task force of subject matter experts who will assist in creating a national strategy to prevent targeted violence through threat assessment and management. I think it's just formalizing what they already do. Threat Fusion's already way ahead of this. They're just going to try to get it more money, probably. The national strategy will provide resources, training, and assistance in threat establishing and operating locally driven multidisciplinary threat assessment and management. Yeah, this is already doing. It's just getting more money for Threat Fusion. Law enforcement, mental health professionals, by mind you, and educational entities can work together. Wow, it's just getting all kinds of people's hands in the pots who are politically motivated. Yeah, that's some scary stuff, Wayne. Thanks. Now you've got me going. Hopefully that doesn't have a chance of getting anywhere, but it probably does because it's going to involve the security state, the surveillance state will get plenty of money, so they'll push it right through, I'm sure. Chance B says HDP is a rare earth metal, or he's just a rare earth guy that listens to metal. Okay. Livestock feed is going to skyrocket, says Wes S. That's the fear. All right, folks, I'm going to have to roll out of here. Thanks for checking in. Good conversation in the side chat. Looks like the Dow's down almost 300. It may have briefly touched 300 already after this headline over here. Oil's at 55. Oil's down 2%, almost 3 on the day. Gold is up. And bonds still dropping like a rock for some bizarre reason. All right, folks, y'all have a good day. Thanks for checking in. Have a good weekend. If I don't see you on the YouTube, go check out Bobby's video or Bobby Solar Homestead talking about DIY solar and why you should be doing it. He just dropped today. I definitely got to go check that out. So we'll talk to y'all later. Have a motivating day. Stay dry. It looks like most of us will be getting rain this afternoon, if not earlier. Live free.